The Archon B Gen 2. Let's check it out. Guys, today we're going to take a look at the Archon B, and these are currently being imported by PTR here in the United States. PTR typically makes really high-end clones of your HK roller lock designs. These are now being produced in Germany and in Hungary, but production with PTR should start toward the end of the year, but we are starting to get these on the market. With the Gen 2, there's a lot of upgrades. One of the things about the Archon B that's signature is this little dip in the slide. But one of the great things about this gun is that it has the speed lock system, and it is a non-tilting recoiling system based on the Bergman system, and now they have patented the speed lock, and it makes it a super low bore axis. It's very flat to shoot, and it just allows for second and third follow-up shots very quickly. With the Gen 2, they've really upgraded their grip system. In fact, it's a highly modular grip where you can change the length of the grip and it's still very secure. So we're going to take a look at the Archon B, a lot of its changes. We're going to go through a little bit of the history because this entered the US market in 2014 and then they started importing them in 2016 through Arsenal. And then they kind of disappeared for a little while, but now they're back and they're improved. And I want to give a big thank you to Nate over at Gun Zone Deals for sending the Archon B for this review. We really appreciate their help. The Archon B, this was first brought into the US by Arsenal USA. And in fact, Salient Arms actually had some models that they did. This was well received immediately when it hit the US market. These are made in Germany. They did make a number in Hungary, which we get some, and the Czech Republic. But the big deal about this firearm is that it has a super low bore axis. In fact, the slide is only 12 millimeters in height. So it really allows for the slide to come right over your hand. But what's really cool is the speed lock system, which is a non-tilt barrel design that makes this super flat shooting and super fast. And so this has a number of things going for it, and that was from the old Bergman recoiling system. But the speed lock system is now patented by Archon and also by Arsenal Italy. And I think they started out together and then they split, but they still both share the patents for the speed lock. In fact, we'll talk about one of the Strike 1s in a minute just as a comparison. These are actually being imported by PTR, which is in my home state here in South Carolina, but they produce really high quality roller lock action rifles and pistols, really based on the HK design. And they put out some really quality firearms. So I was really glad to hear that PTR had gotten a hold of these and hopefully giving the Archon B the chance that it really deserves, because this is honestly a very unique but yet really flat shooting handgun. So first thing let's do is go ahead and take out our magazine, check the chamber, and the gun is empty. You'll notice how low the bore axis is. I mean, it is super low. We do have a beaver tail that comes up, and you'll notice this little section that comes out. And this actually fits in your hand and helps to close up that gap in the web of your hand. So this is purposeful. And, you know, it shoots really well. It just kind of fits. You don't feel any kind of discomfort. You don't even know it's there, honestly. But the slide, very low, and one of the things that's really a trademark of the Archon series, is this cut in the front of the slide. It just kind of brings it down. It makes it really easy for press checks. You do have your front cocking serrations. Of course, you have wide rear cocking serrations as well. This makes it really simple to bring down. But they do make what they call their D model. And the D model actually is just like your standard slide, and it just continues on all the way out. Some people, they didn't like that. It was something different, and they wanted something more traditional. So Archon is offering both. Now, it's kind of a sordid history. I'm not going to get into all the details, but the great thing is we now have these coming into the U.S., and while we're going to see a number again made in Germany and actually the Czech Republic, these are also again going to be made right here in the USA. So let's talk a little bit about the speed lock system. That makes it very low in the hand. The barrel does not tilt. In fact, when I bring it back, the barrel stays in a linear position. A number of companies have been working with that technology and the innovation, and guys, it is a very flat shooting handgun. There's very little travel, and we'll look at it when we break it down. Also, there is a chassis system underneath, and it has full rails that go all the way down. So that way it can be modular, and you're going to be able to take the grips on and off. There's even some talk about actual metal grips, aluminum grips. But one of the cool things, though, also about this handgun is that it's very modular in the grip. Here you'll notice this little section. And this is removable for a very short grip for, actually 13 round magazines, which they're going to be offering soon. But there's also grip extensions, and you just drive out a pin. We're going to look at that in a minute. We're going to go through the whole process, and I'm going to show you how this works. And you can extend the grip for higher capacity magazines. At this point right now, this is a 15 round magazine. From what I understand, the follower has been changed to where it'll accept 16 rounds. Then we also have a 17 round magazine, which again, the follower has been reduced to allow this to have 18 rounds. And so with this, and I'm going to just show you the magazine, it'll stick out the bottom, but once you add the spacer, it's going to add that extra grip surface for your hand. And that way you can go with different lengths. Now the barrel is 4.3 inches in length, and so it's pretty much a standard close to the Glock 19. When you add that extended grip to it, it gets more like the G19X or even the G45 Glock and a lot of other handguns that have started to have that extended grip with the shorter slide. Now you'll notice pins throughout, and this pin is for your grip adapter. We have a pin here at the back for the back strap adapter, and then we have a pin here and here that hold in your chassis. Here we can go with the medium-sized grip. And then here we have the extension and the longer back strap installed. And so we can put up our 17 or 18 round magazine in there, and we're good to go. Again, this just really kind of mimics the Glock G19X with the longer grip and then the shorter slide. And then of course, if you want to take both of these off, when they get the smaller magazines in, then it gives you 3 different grip options. It's according to what you're doing. And especially for those guys who really like the shorter grip for concealment and then the longer slide for better sight radius or just better ballistics. Guys, this is a truly modular system. I mean, with the 15 round or 17 round magazine, we have our extension here for the grip, and we can actually take this one off. And then we have our back straps, we have extra roll pins, and we have screws for our mag release. And all this comes with the Archon B Gen 2. There are actually some Gen 1s that are available on Gun Zone deals, which I was surprised, and the price is really more reasonable, but it has all the internal upgrades of your standard Gen 2 model. One thing also is the recoil system is a 3-spring system, which really allows for a very smooth recoil impulse. And you'll notice that this grip, how it's so textured, and as soon as I picked this up, I thought, man, that looks like Talon grips. And it is Talon grips. They actually make cuts that fit these grips just right. And here on the back strap, of course on the front, and it gives it more of a rubberized feel to it, but yet it doesn't feel sticky. I really like Talon grips. I've used them for years, but I thought it was really unique that this firearm comes with the Talon grips already applied. And you can also get versions with the sandpaper type grip or even their Pro grip. And so it's going to give you a number of different options. But all the additional sections that you're going to put in here to extend the magazine, those are also covered. And we have Talon grip sections here and here to give you just a little more texturing, memory pad, recoil management to be able to put your hand there. It gives you a little bit of traction. We have a little bit right here at the front of the trigger guard. We have a nice undercut, and we have a flat face trigger. And we'll take a better look at that in a minute. But you'll notice it's a very clean handgun. We have the slide stop on one side. It's not ambidextrous. The magazine release can be switched to the other side. In fact, there is a small torque screw right here. You can take that out and you can turn it around. Now, it does have a fence that builds up, and so when you get the magazine, you take it and you hit it, and it takes a little bit of grip adjustment, but here it goes. It really shoots the magazines out. In fact, it ejects the magazines. So this is going to be a really fast way to remove your magazines. I have heard some people that don't really care for this. They want to get to that magazine release a little easy. But one of the things that I've learned, especially in training classes, is you don't want for your magazine release to be too easy, because you can actually inadvertently knock it. I love how this fits, but it is just a touch of a gap right here, but not bad. The magazines actually are fairly reasonable, and what's really funny is that these are compatible with CZ75 mags. But you won't get the same base plate, but man, that really allows you to pick up mags that are pretty plentiful. These mags run less than $30, and they are Metgar mags, so you have a good quality magazine. But the base plates has kind of a checkerboard texturing on the bottom, and again, you do get two mags. We have a fiber optic front sight, and we have a dovetailed rear sight that has serrations across the back. These are Glock compatible. I'm telling you guys, they really thought this out. In fact, you have your small little screw at the bottom, and you can take that out. So if you don't like the sights, the sky is the limit. But nice, again, wide slide serrations, black nitride finish, and it is optics ready. Now this fits directly to the slide. So there's no adapter plates. It's going to allow for you to get that sight down really close, and you can co-witness with your sights. But they do make three different versions. You have your Shield RMS footprint, you have your Acro footprint, and then we have the Trijicon RMR footprint. So that's going to pretty much cover most of your sight patterns. But I believe you're going to have to order the slide for that certain pattern. Then here is your takedown pin. You just push it from one side and it comes out. We have a 4-slot Picatinny rail, and we have it beveled right here at the front of the slide to make it easier to get in and out of holsters. But these are really nice looking guns, and again, if you don't like the cut, you can get the D model without the cut. Now here we have the Arsenal Italy, and this is the Strike 1, and this is from American Precision Firearms. This is the Speed model. At first, they were only making the 5-inch barrel. This was great for the range, great for going out and shooting competitively or home defense. But really, a lot of people like that 4.3-inch barrel because it, again, puts it into that Glock 19 size instead of the Glock 17 size. Arsenal Italy has just introduced their 4-inch barrel, so that'll be coming. But I'm going to tell you guys, this was a very sweet shooting handgun. I really like it. One of the things that I did notice was that it is super fast to shoot. If you want to really put rounds on range, you can do it quickly. And the beautiful thing about the low bore axis and that barrel system, the speed lock barrel system, it makes it very fast. And so that way, you know, for a self-defense firearm, this really allows you to just really put all the rounds in one spot. And for us guys that like suppressors, they do offer a threaded barrel model. I think the threaded barrel alone is like $139, so it's not a big upgrade if you want to, you know, attach the barrel, and then of course, you know, you can put on your suppressors. But the one beautiful thing about this barrel system, because it is linear, when you put a suppressor or even a compensator on the end, it doesn't weigh the barrel down. It doesn't affect the tilting design of your John Browning type systems. And so that is actually going to give it another advantage just by being linear. Also, when it comes to the magwell, it's a very generous open magwell, and yet it barely changes the configuration of the handgun. You know, a lot of times when you have big magwells on here, it actually fills this area. But then the grip, with this little notch that comes down, it fits in your hand extremely well. I have medium-sized hands. If you have larger hands, then you add the adapter and you can extend that magazine, and then, you know, it can fit whatever you want to do. And that's the beautiful thing about this grip system and with the chassis. The chassis is what they consider the gun. So you can change out your grips without any problem. And the serial number is actually right here at the back of the slide, and it's just stamped right inside here because this is part of the chassis. All right, we're going to check the trigger action, and while this is a flat face trigger, it does have an angle, but when you bring this and pivots around, it goes into a horizontal position. So here we have take up, we have a little bit of resistance, and then we have a snap or a break. Not super crisp, but it is tactile. And then reset right there. Trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge. 4 pounds, 7.8 ounces. 4 pounds, 6.1 ounces. So under 4.5 pounds. Big thank you to Fiocchi for sponsoring the ammunition, all made in the USA, one of the biggest suppliers of ammo in the country. And also, we really appreciate our Lula loaders. They make loading mags really simple. Guys, the Archon B's been through some changes, and it came to the US and then it went away, and it's just great to see it back. And then with PTR at the helm, you're going to get some really good quality. But this is just such a sweet shooting gun, super low bore axis, and it has that Bergman recoiling system, which is totally different. But they really upgraded the grip, and the texturing on the slide's excellent. Has that really strange kind of curve, little dip in the slide, but great shooting gun, and I've really been wanting to get a hold of one of these because they're just really unique and they're very innovative, but they shoot really well. When you get that low bore axis, it's riding low, the slide rides real low in your hand, so it has a lot less muzzle flip. And then, of course, with the Bergman recoiling system, that just kind of delays things, makes it really low, which again aids in recoil management. But these guns have been around now for a little while, but it's, again, great to see PTR taking the helm. Whew, that's a smooth shooting gun. So let's disassemble the Archon B Gen 2. We're going to drop our magazine, check the chamber, and the gun's empty. Go ahead and bring it back into slide lock. And then right here is your takedown pin. It goes in the opposite direction of some, but we just pull it out, and then it's retained, which I like. And then we're going to drop our slide stop, pull the trigger in a safe direction, and then pull the slide right off. First thing I want to show you, though, is the chassis. This is the system. It is stainless steel. It's one piece. You can see that the rails go all the way down, and that is going to be great slide to frame fit. It just allows it to shoot a little smoother. And so we do have a little bit of a break here where we have a couple of components. One of the things they've done is they've beefed up the sear and just made it more safe. And that was one of the things with the Gen 2. They added a little bit of extra material, and so just really watching for safety. But it's just a beautiful piece. This has a pin here, and this comes out. And that would be your firearm. We're not going to pull it out, but that is a very beautiful, simple system. And you can see how flat it rides right next to the frame. But here we have our recoil spring, and this is a 3-piece spring system, and so it's going to allow for really soft shooting. And then we have our locking block right here, and this comes out. This is your speed lock locking block. This is pretty unique, and we'll look at that in a little bit. And then also the barrel just comes right out. Definitely a totally different design. And one thing you'll notice is there's very little feed ramp right here. And that's because it rides so low in the frame. But inside, there's a feed ramp built into the chassis. So we have a metal feed ramp right here. And then, as you can see, this fits really close down to the slide. I mean, that barrel is just super close. And so we have our locking block in place, and it's just a very short travel with the barrel. And so that's just really going to allow for this to delay and to give you a little bit as it comes back, and that's one of the things that makes this so fast. Now you'll notice these rails in the speed lock. And so that rides actually in the slide itself. It unlocks and then it rides here. That is also going to give you a good secure point when you're firing the gun. So, I mean, this thing has been really well thought out. And again, it is from, the Bergman recoiling system, obviously heavily modified, but definitely, guys, it is such a soft shooting gun. I highly recommend getting a hold of one, at least a friend or at the range, and try this out. Here you can see the striker assembly system, and everything is so well done. I mean, it's just a beautiful gun. For reassembly, drop in your barrel. Again, this will only go one way into the slide. And so once you put that speed lock system in it, it just drops down inside. To do it the other way, it just won't fit. And so we're going to place it in. Then we're going to take our recoil spring and guide rod. It's funny because part of it's captive, and then you have the massive part of the spring right here that's not. But that just rides really close, and you can see how close it is. And then we're going to put on, slide to the frame, lock it into slide lock, bring your takedown pin, go ahead and close it, and test for function, and we're back in business. Guys, this is a sweet shooting gun and a very unique system. So we're getting the Archon Firearms PTR stamped on the box. Of course, we have our lock and we have our paperwork. We have our extra pins and screws, pistol, your back straps, your grip edition, and your extra magazine. And when it comes to the price, the manufacturer suggested retail is $960 for the Gen 2. At Gun Zone Deals, they're running about the $850 range, and there's a lot of different configurations that he has set up. And he actually offers the Gen 1 in a package, and it has all the internal upgrades. It's just got that map grip to it. It's a little bit different. But when it comes to pros and cons, first pro is that this system shoots super flat because of the low bore axis. And what gives us the low bore axis is the speed lock system. And guys, not only is it super flat shooting, the barrel stays in that linear position, but it's also really fast. So you really gain a lot from that low bore axis. The grip modularity is really cool. It gives you a lot of different options, or if you're like me, I typically leave it like it is. Has a nice ample trigger guard, nice undercut. We have our Picatinny rail, and we have optics ready. Glock compatible sights and CZ75 compatible magazines. And these are made by Metgar, but guys, to be honest, these run around less than $30 on the Gun Zone Deal website. So that's a very reasonable price for these mags. And you get the standard base plate. So a lot of options. As far as some cons, the trigger action, I like it. It's flat face. It's not bad, but it could use a little bit of improvement. It is unorthodox. With the cut here at the front, to me, this is very purposeful, but if you don't like that, you can get the D model with just the standard slide configuration. There have been some comments about the magazine release, but I find that it's really good. It really drops those mags out very well. The Talon grips, that's a really nice touch. And again, you can get the sandpaper type or the Pro series, so it gives you some options there. Nice wide slide serrations, beautiful nitride finish, and I mean the grip itself, the polymer grip, is very well done. So overall, this is just an excellent option. It's definitely new, it's very innovative, but then again, it has been around for at least 10 years. And it's really great to see these coming back into the United States, and then we're going to be seeing PTR producing these, and again, they are very capable of reproducing these at a very high level. Guys, while there is a sea of polymer striker fire pistols out on the market, with the Archon B, this just really changes the game. And the Gen 2 coming in with this modular grip system, of course the speed lock recoiling system, which makes this incredibly flat to shoot, and with that super low bore axis, man, this thing is fast and you can really get on target. And a big thank you again to Gun Zone Deals for sending the PTR Archon B Gen 2 for this review. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. All right, guys, this is where the magic happens, and really, okay. We're going to disassemble the Archon Gen. Okay. Now, for reassembly, we're just going to drop in our barrel. Oh, is that right? Yeah. For one of those guns that just has that feel to it. Okay. But let's go ahead and unload the magazine. Let's start over. Now we're good. The Archon B Gen 2, let's check it out. Really taken from the old, okay.